Well, it's Tuesday morning and the power's out. And I said in the last video I did that I was going to update, do another video if we had a problem with water. You know, there's nothing. Completely shut down. And so I'm going to tell you how we are dealing with that with our water preps today. Well, the power's on right now, and it's still rotating, so it gives me a chance. This is when I do my videos, and I'll try to get it up today. But it's Tuesday, and there's no water. So before I talk about how we're working our preps to get through this, I want to recap what we have for water preps. So this is part of our long-term storage preps. We have 24 5-gallon containers in the garage. 12 of them are full and the others are empty because I hurt my back filling the first 12 about a year and a half ago when we moved here. I just never got back to it, and I think I'm going to do that as soon as the storm's over. Anyway, so this is part of our preps. We also maintain a supply of 12 cases of bottled water. We use some of it sometimes and then just replenish it, but 8 stored in here with all my other storage, and 2 in the kitchen, 2 in the garage, and we just rotate them out. This is our Berkey water filter. We've had this for many years. We've actually been using this as our main drinking water source. We just put tap water in it and filter it out. This is nice because we're now hearing about a lot of places, a lot of communities having to boil their water in the area. I don't want to have to be watching TV and finding out that I need to boil water as I'm drinking water out of the tap. So this gives some comfort. Now I'm going to talk about how we are implementing our water prepping plans because of a lack of water. Really, the beginning, it started with when we heard that there would be a possible water outage or a storm coming that was going to be as severe as it was. We started storing tap water so that we wouldn't have to dip into our storage water. So tap water is one part of the things that we did to prepare ahead of time. And then another thing we did is filled up the bathtub because we would use this water for the toilet. If there was no water supply, then we would have to use it to flush the toilet and other miscellaneous things. Something else we've done to prepare for the possibility of no water is to keep up on everything. As long as we had water, we would do our dishes right away. We would shower in the morning and at night. We would do wash clothes, dishwasher, whatever. Just get caught up. So when the water stops, then we are caught up. So now that we don't have any water, we're using our storage of tap water that we started putting away when we heard there was going to be a storm. And once we finished all that water that we put away, then we start drinking our bottled water. I forgot to mention, as part of our preps before the storm hit, is we brought 6 of these empty ones in the house and filled them up with water. That way they're not going to freeze as well. So this is what we would drink if we ran out of bottled water. And then the last resort, if there still is no water flow, would be we live near a lake, and we'd filter lake water through the filter, and that would provide our drinking water. I don't think we're going to have to even go beyond finishing this off and maybe a case or 2 of bottled water. And then finally, regarding our how we're currently using our water supply, is we took one of the 5-gallon containers, and since we have no water coming out of the faucet anymore, we use this for washing dishes and washing our hands. Now, if this was going to be an emergency lasting weeks or months, we wouldn't use this. It would be drinking water. But we're talking about a week-long event here, probably, and so that's why we're comfortable doing that. Okay, so that's pretty much how we're dealing with no supply of water from the utility, and I think we'll be fine. And I'm also sharing water. We filled up a bunch of, if you could see it here, a bunch of water bottles that we can give neighbors, and I offered one of our blue 5-gallon waters to our neighbor as well. And we have frozen food, which is nice because we can't. It's so snowy and icy, we can't go anywhere, and because of COVID, and it can't get delivered. That's one reason we have frozen food storage or meat storage. Anyway, so I'm going to end with a few little tidbits, information, and updates. I just want to do a quick little update, a reminder that the Delta here I use for my freezer, and my EcoFlow Pro 600 and EF 1500 I use for our electric blanket and other various, cell phone charging and things like that. But typically for the electric blanket at night and in the day if we need to warm up. And it's not plugged into the electric blanket during the day anymore. Now, when the power's out, we run a TV with it. And 61 watts is what it's using right now on the TV. So I'm going to show it to you. Now the power's out right now, so it's not real bright, but so we don't use this TV because it's huge, 65-inch. It way too many watts. But in the guest room we have, with the power out, we just use this, and this only takes 61 watts. So, and the way we run it is we just got an antenna. We just hook it up, and it works fine there. And you can see nothing else is hooked up except that. Well, the power's out again, and I just want to show you one of the lamps. They're super bright. These LEDs are just really bright. But my wife figured out a way to get around that. She just took some gallon distilled water jugs and cut them, and we just put them over the lamps or the lanterns, so it softens the light. So it's kind of nice. But this, for me, this isn't something that I want to carry around when the power's out. I just don't do that. But I want to show you what I carry, and that is this. I just put it in my pocket, and then whenever I need to go somewhere in my house where it's dark, I just take it out and use this. It's got a magnet on the back, and you can stick it on something and do some work. It's called an Outage, and the model of this one is an S1 baton. And I don't think they make these anymore. I think they only make the rechargeable type, and I prefer the battery one. But I'm going to buy the rechargeable one. I'll do a little review on it. So I'm going to turn the lights off and demonstrate this real quick. This is 500 lumens, and the one that's rechargeable is 1,000. I can imagine how bright that's going to be because this thing's pretty bright. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is the low beam. And then this second brightest. And then this is the third and then the brightest. So it's really not, I mean, it's all I need when there's no power. I just walk around with my little light and I put it in my pocket. This is my everyday carry light. I keep it in my pocket all the time. As a general rule, we try to keep our tanks full, and they're full right now. So people are having a hard time finding gas stations that are open, and when they do, there's long lines. I guess gas stations are having a tough time, frozen pipes, and gas trucks can't get to the station because of the roads. Well, I just heard on the news that people are having a real tough time finding food, or well, some people anyway. The stores' shelves are emptying, and trucks can't get to the stores, and they don't have their refrigerators. All the food in the refrigerator is starting to go bad because they have no power, and that's exactly why it's a good idea to prep and store food for emergencies. That's why we have food in our freezer, so that we have meats and milk and bread in there at all times. So this is a good example of why the person really should prep. Well, thank you for watching, and maybe share the video if you think it's useful for someone else, and if you liked it, like it, and maybe subscribe so you can catch any other videos I might be putting out. And we're praying for everybody in Texas going through this. I'd say there's a lot more people going through a lot worse situation here in Texas than we are, and so our prayers are for everybody out there. Again, thank you for watching, and have a great day if you can.